بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ادع إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإن تتولوا يستبدل قوما غيركم ثم لا يكونوا أمثالكم. صدق الله المولى العظيم. Respected brethren and my dear children, I have read to you the last segment of the last verse of Surah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Where do you find Surah Muhammad? You see, to the non-Arab, and I take it most of us here are non-Arabs, it is very, very difficult to find these references. When somebody tells you Surah Ikhlas, you don't know where to find it. Somebody tells you Surah Yasin, where will you find it? People are used to Yasin Sharif. Generally our people, when somebody is dying, he said, look, if you read Yasin Sharif, your soul will depart. The person who is in Sakaratul Maut, who is in the throes of death, he says his soul will depart more easily. So a lot of our people are used to finding Yasin. But where will you find Muhammad in the Arabic Quran? Very difficult. There is a Quran available, originally printed in this country, one by Abdullah Yusuf Ali, printed in Lahore by the Ashraf Publications, by Abdullah Yusuf Ali. This particular translation has an advantage of having an index, a very comprehensive index at the back of it. And if you open the index just like a dictionary, look for Surah Muhammad, whatever reference people give you, make a habit of going and checking up, not that you distrust the speaker, but by checking up and verifying, it will become your property. That knowledge becomes your own property, so you can reuse it. And you can polish it, and your knowledge will grow around that little information that was given to you. Check up the verses. I said Surah Muhammad, under M you find Muhammad, and it will tell you chapter 47. So 47 is easy to find because every page in this volume is numbered. Then I say verse 38, 38 is easy to find. Make use of this book. And this translation, if you get it, you need it. All those who speak English, this translation is imperative. Even the Arab who understands Arabic direct, the Arabic of the Quran direct, you still need an English translation if you want to articulate in English. Simply because you get the right terminology. You understand it well, but in trying to put it to the outsider, you might use terms and expressions which compromises your belief. So, for that reason, everyone needs a translation. If you want to speak English, you want to improve your English, there isn't a better book. You do not have to read Shakespeare or Milton to improve even your English. This book will do the job, inshallah. So, Allah tells us in this last segment, last part of the last verse of Surah Muhammad, وَإِن تَتَوَلَّوْا يَسْتَبْدِلْ قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ. That, O Muslims, if you do not fulfill your obligations, the trust that Allah has imposed upon you, for being the khayra ummatin, you are the best of people. If you do not carry out your responsibilities, say يَسْتَبْدِلْ قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ. He will substitute in your place another people. ثُمَّ لَا يَكُنُوا أَمْثَالَكُمْ. And then they won't be like you. It's a warning given to us, Muslims. Every position of honor carries with it certain responsibilities. If you are the best of people, that honor, that privilege carries with it responsibilities. There is no honor without responsibility. So Allah Bari Ta'ala imposes the responsibility of sharing this deen with the rest of mankind. And in the system of religion, in the history of religions, Allah Bari Ta'ala chose the Jews, a very peculiar people. Allah in His wisdom, He knew why He chose the Jews. To me they seem to be the guinea pigs of mankind for experimental purposes. You know, you experiment on guinea pigs. You know guinea pigs, those little animals, they experiment, the scientists. What, because they love the guinea pigs? No. He says that animal is the most suitable animal for experimentation. Similarly, Allah Bari Ta'ala in His wisdom, He chose the Jews. And He sent prophets after prophets to them. When we take the names of some of our children, most of them carry Jewish names. This is Musa, Dawood, Sulaiman, Ishaq, Jewish names, Jewish names, Jewish names. Did you know that? But we take these names, we give our children these names, not because they are Jewish, because these are the names of the righteous servants of God, the prophets of God. So we give our children these names, but in origin they are all Jewish. And when we Muslims, we affirm that we believe in the 4 heavenly books, we say we believe in the Torah, we believe in the Zabur, we believe in the Injil, and we believe in the Furqan, the Holy Quran. Out of these 4 books that we name, 75% are Jewish books. The Torah was given to Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, a Jew. The Zabur was given to Hazrat Dawood alayhi salam, a Jew. The Injil was given to Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, a Jew. Jew. I don't know. Well, God Almighty in His wisdom, He knows why He chose the Jews. There is some little secret revealed in this book about certain idiosyncrasies. We all have idiosyncrasies. Every nation has its idiosyncrasies. Certain peculiarities which might seem funny to us, which might be an asset. You see, Allah Bari Ta'ala, when He gave the good news of the birth of His first son, Ismail, He describes Ismail as Ghulaman Halima in the Quran. Ghulaman Halima. Then later on, after 13 years, He gives our Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam and again a news of the birth of another son, Ishaq alayhi salam. And now He says Ghulaman Alima. What was Allah trying to do? Trying to rhyme it? Halima, Alima, so it sounds nicer, because it is Halima and Halima, it sounds monotonous. No. There's a purpose. Allah Bari Ta'ala, when He chooses the word, He knows why He used the word. We don't know. We take it, mashallah, beautiful, nice rhyming, music. But no, there is something in the Jew. The children of Ishaq alayhi salam, the children of Ismail alayhi salam has their peculiarities. They are Halima, humble, submissive people to Allah's commands. Prepared for sacrifice. Ismail alayhi salam, prepared for sacrifice. The Jew, children of Ishaq alayhi salam, Alima, knowledgeable, intellectual. And they seem to be running the world. A handful of them, there are about 15 million in the world, they make the American dog, you know, the tail. The 6 million Jews are wagging the American dog. You know that? There is something in them. Allah has given them something. They shake the world. In my country, a handful of them, they are running the whole industries. Everything is under their control. Handful of them. Ghulaman Alima. So, Allah Bari Ta'ala, everyone I say has got his idiosyncrasies. We have our shortcomings. We have certain assets, talents. So He chose the Jews. He sends prophets after prophets to them to do His job of delivering the knowledge of God to the rest of mankind. He chose them for that. And they were the khayra ummatin of their time. The best of people for their time were the Jews. But they didn't carry out their orders, their obligations. They didn't fulfill them. So Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, a Jew among the Jews, he tells the Jews, his own people, He says that the kingdom of God, this honor, this privilege, being the khayra ummatin, the best of people, that this kingdom of God will be taken away from you and given to a nation bringing forth the fruits thereof. You don't produce the fruits. This honor, privilege is taken away from you and given to somebody else, bringing forth the fruits thereof. And he did it. He chose the Arabs. And this is also another system we noticed in Allah's workings with his creation, that when he substitutes a people by another people, he chooses a people whom you look down upon, the most despicable of people in your sight. Allah makes them to sit on your head. Watch, see in history, he's doing it all the time. Who comes along and destabilizes you? The people that you are looking down upon, you're laughing upon. He makes them to sit on your head. And they were the Jews, they were laughing upon the Arabs. They're looking down upon their Arab cousins. They insinuated that Bibi Hajara, the mother of Ismail alayhi salam, the progenitor of the Arab races, she was a bondwoman, a londi, a slave woman, and as such her children are worthless rubbish. They say illegitimate. The Jews, they say these are the illegitimate offsprings because Sarah was his legitimate wife and this was just a woman taken in. Londi ki aulad hai. They say Hagarenes. Hajara ki aulad, these are the Hagarenes. And they call the religion followed by the children of Hagar as Hagarism. Not Islam, Hagarism. Hajara ki aulad ka deen, Hagarism. They have been looking down upon the Arab cousins for 3,000 years. And they still look down upon them today. Allah Bari Ta'ala chose them to sit on their head, become masters of the world. He chose a people, an illiterate people, an ignorant people, an ummi people with an ummi prophet. And he made them masters of the world. A Jewish medical man writing a book on medicine, he happens to speak about the contribution of the Muslims to medicine. But when he is giving credit to his Arab cousins, he has a dig at them, at the Muslims, at the Arabs. He says, goat herds and camel drivers sitting on the throne of the Caesars. Imagine, these goat herds, charwahe, camel drivers, they now are sitting on the throne of the Caesars and then they're ruling the world in Spain, masters of arts and sciences. What a joke, what a joke. But here is the beauty. The beauty is that this is what Allah does. This shows that this is the work of Allah. That He picks you out from the dust, from the gutter and puts you right on the top. This is not the work of the Arabs. They couldn't have done it. Allah does it. To him it's a sting that he's having a dig at his Arab cousins, but it is really the highest testimony you can give that this is what Allah can do, right from the gutter, right to the top. He chose the Arabs. And in time, our Arab brethren, Allah made them to spread out. And they spread out. And they went to Spain. The only Semitic people that went to Europe as kings, as rulers, were the Muslims. The Phoenicians, before Jesus, they had gone to Europe as traders. The Jews had gone to Europe, Semitic people, as fugitives or captives. The Muslims went there as rulers, as masters. And they ruled Spain for 800 years. No Christian nation has ruled Muslims yet for that period of time. The longest that they ruled Muslims was in Mozambique. Mozambique was a Muslim country. Did you know that? The name of that territory was, the governor, when the Portuguese took over with the superior gunpowder, was Musa bin Baik, an Arab. Musa bin Baik. The Portuguese couldn't say Musa bin Baik, so they said Mozambique, Muslim territory. They couldn't say Jabal Tariq. Jabal means the mountain of Tariq, the man, the first Muslim who crossed over from Africa into Spain, into Europe, was At-Tariq, and this is the Jabal of At-Tariq, Jabal At-Tariq, they say Gibraltar. So you miss the mark, you don't know who what they're talking about. Ma'manullah in Philippines They say Manila. There, when they read, they say, this is by the help of Allah we reach here. Manullah. They say Manila. The longest that they ruled was in Mozambique, 500 years, the Portuguese. The second longest was in Indonesia. They ruled there for 300 years, the Dutch. The Muslims ruled Spain for 800 years. And 800 years, our Arab cousins, brothers, they were reading the Quran. And they understood the Quran. They understood Arabic. It was their mother tongue. But they didn't heed the warnings. Allah Bari Ta'ala is speaking to them. He's describing scenes, events in history, from which they are to learn a lesson and imbibe benefits. They're reading in the masajids and the Hafizul Quran among the Arabs, and generally when they're making a recitation of the Quran, tilawat al-Quran, they're reading كم تركوا من جنات وعيون وزوء ومكان كريم ونعمة كانوا فيها فاكهين كذلك أورثناها قوما آخرين فما بقت عليهم السماء والأرض وما كانوا منذرين. They read it, and again they read it. What are they reading? They understood what Allah was telling them. كم تركوا من جنات وعيون. So how many were the gardens and the fountains they left behind? وَزُوٍ وَمَكَامٍ كَرِيمٍ, and cornfields and monumental buildings. وَنِعْمَةٍ كَانُوا فِيهَا فَاكِهِينَ, and wealth and the amenities of life in which they took so much delight. كَذَلِكَ أَوْرَثْنَاهَا قَوْمًا آخَرِينَ. Thus other people were made to inherit these things. فَمَا بَقَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ السَّمَاءُ وَالْأَرْضُ وَمَا كَانُوا مُنذَرِينَ. And neither the heavens nor the earth shed a tear for them, nor was respite given to them anymore. When the time came, wipe them out. Get them out of the way. They're not performing their duties. They don't carry out the responsibilities. Get them out of the way. Habis, يَسْتَبْدِلْ قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ. They substitute in your place another people. After 800 years, wiped out to a man. There was not one man left in that country after 800 years to give the azan. What a defeat. What a disgrace. No nation has lost so heavily. Not one man left in that country to give the azan. The only thing we left behind was those monuments and those fountains. Yes, they were reading about the fountains and the gardens and the monumental buildings. But they were relating that to Firaun in Egypt. The fool, he didn't heed the warnings. He was given warnings after warnings, plagues after plagues. But the fool, he didn't listen. Allah destroyed them. Firaun and his people, his army. You remember? Yes. The fools are not thinking that they are in the firing line. They are in the firing line. But they're laughing at the other fellow. This is human nature. We always laugh at the other guy. We are in the fire ourselves, but we're laughing at the other fellow. Time came, Allah says, فَتَرَبَّصُوا. You don't carry out your duties and responsibility, you wait. And the fools waited. 800 years they waited. Allah waited. He's as-subur. He's long-suffering, he's patient. He waited for 800 years. And in 800 years you couldn't do the job. Why didn't you do the job? Because he said, these wine bibbers, daru peene wale pittak log, these pig eaters, suwar khane wale, what can they understand about Islam? That's the mentality. This was the mentality of our brethren. These pig eaters and wine bibbers, what can they understand about Islam? Forgetting that they themselves were worse. The Arabs were worse of the Ayyamul Jahiliyyah. They married their stepmothers, they buried their daughters alive, fratricidal wars, drunkards, adulterers, gamblers. That Gibbon, the master historian, describes them. He says the human brute, almost without sense, is poorly distinguished from the rest of the animal creation. The only thing that makes him different from the animal is the form. This form, fi ahsani taqweem, that Allah made him in the best of forms. Otherwise he's worse than animals. And Allah could change him, could transform him to become the torchbearers of light and learning. No, but he can't change the Spanish, can he? No, so they kept their women, they married them, maybe, they married them, they didn't convert them, because Islam allows. These fools today are talking also, Islam allows. What it allows? Or you can marry Jewesses and you can marry Christian women. And do what with them? Beget children to go to church, believe that Jesus is God, going to hell. Your wife is going to go to hell and you say you love her, you hypocrites. You bring wives from Europe. By all means. Change them, convert them. By all means. Make them better Muslims. If you can't make them better Muslims than your mother at home, than your sister at home, than your sister-in-law at home, I say don't tempt providence. You fools, don't do any such silly things. Because you can't. You are not men anymore. You have different standards. The standards of your forefathers are not with you. Like one of our shair, he says, Sheikh Sahib bhi to parde ke koi hami nahi. This Sheikh Sahib, this learned man, he is also not a guy pro parda. He is not for parda. Sheikh Sahib bhi to parde ke koi hami nahi. Muft mein college ke ladke unse badzan ho gaye. He said, for no reason these college, university students are getting offended with the Sheikh Sahib. Muft mein college ke ladke unse badzan ho gaye. वाज में फरमा दिया कल आपने ये साफ साफ. Yesterday in his sermon he delivered the message, very very clearly. वाज में फरमा दिया कल आपने ये साफ साफ. पर्दा आखिर किससे हो जब मर्द ही जन हो गए. So against whom are you going to make parda when the men themselves have become effeminate, emasculated, castrated animals like? You can't speak to your wives anymore to tell her what to do and what not to do. You're not men anymore. And you want to make parda against who? Says the Sheikh Sahib. So I said, don't tempt providence. They tempted providence. They brought in Christian women. They kept them. They begat children. And their very children destroyed them. Because you didn't do the job. The job was a complete job. Make them your own. In thought, faith, in every aspect, they should be you. No. He said the mother is going to church. Islam gives you freedom of religion. Can you stop your wife saying the Father, Son and Holy Ghost, doing shirk, going to hell? No, you can't. You haven't got the guts to do that. But Islam allows you, you say. So you allowed them, and this is what you did. Destroyed the whole Muslim nation. Now, coming nearer home. Cyprus. In Cyprus, our Turkish brethren ruled that country, that island, for 400 years. And in 400 years, they didn't convert 400 Greek families to Islam. You know that? Had it not been for the strong arm of Turkey, each and every Turk on Cyprus would have been wiped out by now. It's Turkey is keeping these Cypriot Turks alive. Coming still nearer home. Modern Iraq, old time, Baghdad, Samarkand, Bukhara, and the Harun al-Rashid, Mamun al-Rashid, we read that they created a veritable fairyland. Fairyland. Those scenes that existed then, you can't reproduce them except on films. On films they can do anything, they can show you anything. But in real life, of course Islamabad is coming somewhere near it, but not near enough to what existed then. The beauties. On the borders were the Mongols. You remember Jahangir Khan? Naam suna hai? Jahangir Khan, Halaku Khan. The Mongols. Khan. But these modern Khans are different. We have the Pathan Khans and the Punjabi Khans. And we also have some Gujarati Khans. No, those were the real Khans, you see. Those Khans. There is the Mongols. The Mongols. So what about them? What about the Deen of Islam for them? Those barbarians, what can they understand about Islam? That mentality is a mentality I'm describing to you. The mentality in Spain, the mentality in Cyprus, the mentality in the Middle East. Mentality. What can they understand, these barbarians? Allah says, فَتَرَبَّصُوا. You wait. And they waited. We waited. For what? For destruction. حَتَّى يَأْتِيَ اللَّهُ بِأَمْرِهِ, until Allah's decision comes about for your destruction. And you waited for that. They waited. Allah Bari Ta'ala doesn't come down with a whip from heaven to beat you up. He says, come on, he activates. He says, look, these guys here, easy meat, sitting on their backsides, having a good time, go and wipe them out. And destroy the Islamic empire. Massacre, unbelievable. Demoralized utterly. when we hear the stories about the demoralization of the Muslims, unbelievable. You can't believe that one Mongol can drive 100 Muslims like sheep and goats. That's the story. Utterly demoralized by these Mongols. It is said that one Mongol, somehow he collided with a Muslim and he lost his temper. So, can't you see where you're going? Andha hai tu? You blind? Says, bend down. He said, I'll chop off your head. So the poor Muslim, he bent down. He bent down. He said, bend down. So he bent. And the man remembered, he said, I forgot my sword at home. I said, you wait, I'm coming. He went home, he brought the sword, the Muslim was still there. Yes, we laugh. We can reach that stage. We have reached that stage in India. 100 million Muslims or more, you say. We reached that stage. Why? 1,000 years we ruled this subcontinent. We were masters of this subcontinent for 1,000 years. After 1,000 years of Muslim rule, eventually when partition takes place, the Muslim gets 1/4, the Hindu gets 3/4. Why? You didn't do the job. 1,000 years, you couldn't do the job. Power is in your hand, education, livelihood, everything is in your hands, prestige is in your hands, but you didn't do the job, and we are paying the price. Are we going to learn a lesson today? No, no, no. This is one thing man learns from history, and that one thing is nothing. पढ़ते हैं, हंसते हैं. We laugh at the fools. The guys in Spain laughing at the Egyptians. We in Baghdad, Samarkand, Bukhara laughing at the Spanish Muslims. We today, we laugh at the Turks. We laugh at the Arabs. Fools, for 1,000 years the Jews were coming into your midst. They were seeking refuge. Every time there was persecution in Europe, pogroms, every Easter, the Christians reminded themselves that these are Christ killers. They killed our God. So they killed their men and women, and they raped their women, and they burned their homes, and they fled to Muslim lands, and the Arab says, Ahlan wa sahlan. Oh, shit. That's why I laugh. Ahlan wa sahlan. Family and plain, and they lived in your midst. And in 1,000 years, we couldn't convert 1,000 Jewish families to Islam. That's something wrong with Islam or with us. Something wrong. Allah says, لِيُزْهِرَهُ عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ. He's given you a deen that's to master, overcome, and supersede them all. But we couldn't make a dent in the Christians of Spain. We couldn't make a dent among the Jews who قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ. That, O Muslims, if you do not fulfill your obligations, the trust that Allah Bari Ta'ala has imposed upon you, for being the khayra ummatin, you are the best of people. If you do not carry out your responsibilities, say, yastabdil qawman ghayrakum. He will substitute in your place another people. Thumma la yakunu amthalakum. And then they won't be like you. It's a warning given to us, Muslims. Every position of honor carries with it certain responsibilities. If you are the best of people, that honor, that privilege carries with it responsibilities. There is no honor without responsibility. So Allah Bari Ta'ala imposes the responsibility of sharing this deen with the rest of mankind. And in the system of religion, in the history of religions,
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ادع إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإن تتولوا يستبدل قوما غيركم ثم لا يكونوا أمثالكم. صدق الله المولى العظيم. respected brethren and my dear children, then I say verse 38, 38 is easy to find. Make use of this book. And this translation, if you get it, you need it. All those who speak English, this translation is imperative. Even the Arab who understands Arabic direct, the Arabic of the Quran direct, you still need an English translation if you want to articulate in English. Simply because you get the right terminology. You understand it well, but in trying to put it to the outsider, you might use terms and expressions which compromises your belief. So, for that reason, everyone needs a translation. If you want to speak English, you want to improve your English, there isn't a better book. You do not have to read Shakespeare or Milton to improve even your English. This book will do the job, inshallah. So, Allah tells us in this last segment, last part of the last verse of Surah Muhammad, وَإِن تَتَوَلَّوْا يَسْتَبْدِلْ. In this country, one by Abdullah Yusuf Ali, printed in Lahore by the Ashraf Publications, by Abdullah Yusuf Ali. This particular translation has an advantage of having an index, a very comprehensive index at the back of it. And if you open the index just like a dictionary, look for Surah Muhammad, whatever reference people give you, make a habit of going and checking up. Not that you distrust the speaker, but by checking up and verifying, it will become your property. That knowledge becomes your own property, so you can reuse it. And you can polish it, and your knowledge will grow around that little information that was given to you. Check up the verses. I said Surah Muhammad, under M you find Muhammad, and it will tell you chapter 47. So 47 is easy to find because every page in this volume is numbered. I have read to you the last segment of the last verse of Surah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Where do you find Surah Muhammad? You see, to the non-Arab, and I take it most of us here are non-Arabs, it is very, very difficult to find these references. When somebody tells you Surah Ikhlas, you don't know where to find it. Somebody tells you Surah Yasin, where will you find it? People are used to Yasin Sharif. Generally our people, when somebody is dying, he said, look, if you read Yasin Sharif, your soul will depart. The person who is in Sakaratul Maut, who is in the throes of death, his soul will depart more easily. So a lot of our people are used to finding Yasin. But where will you find Muhammad in the Arabic Quran? Very difficult. There is a Quran available, originally printed